Virgo, this is your December 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, then this is your final reading for the year. Thank you for all your support and tuning in to my channel. It's Romy here. We're going to give you some intuitive messages and key dates to look out for. So we're in Sagittarius energy, and it's illuminating that fourth house for you. Now, I think you are nurturing and cultivating a new attitude this month, and it's profound, you know. It's rooted in experiences over the past 12 months. It's coming from a deep desire to want to make a more permanent shift for yourself in your life. And I think what's most powerful about this is that it's not requiring validation from anybody, because you feel it deep within your bones, you know. It's one of those moments in life where you just kind of have reflected, you've changed your perspective and your outlook, and it's really a bit of an epiphany moment that I see coming through for you. The disruption that you may have felt or that is continuing around you through this season, it's about moving you, Virgo, moving you to the path that you're supposed to be on, to the thoughts you're supposed to be thinking, or the awareness that you're meant to be arriving at. Now, let's talk about December. We've got Neptune going direct. We also have Chiron, wounded healer, going direct. So Neptune on the 3rd, Chiron on the 23rd. These healing, feeling planets have been teaching us much during their retrogrades over the last few months. And as you consider the way in which it's invited you to surrender, especially regarding some of those healing crises or having to reimagine your own hopes and dreams and aspirations, this is a time now to truly integrate and embody, but feeling much more clarity. And this is part of this sort of shift and change that I see emerging from you. And even as you continue to bridge the gap, you know, you might be wrestling with two very clear truths, and I think both of them are valid, and I think it's okay. It's okay to feel the conflict of that. It's okay to feel the upheaval and the impending change that you can see over the horizon. It's what it is to be human, to kind of have sometimes these questions that we simply can't answer. And in a way, you're almost being invited, as we look at Tower energy coming in, to, you know, adopt the role of the artist, yeah, and just pose the questions. And as this energy unfolds, you know, you've got two majors coming out here, Hanged Man and then the Tower. So even where there may have been things that have felt stuck, or, you know, you've had this sort of sense of impending change, this waiting, like almost feeling like you're sat in the waiting room of your own life in some area perhaps, and then Tower energy sweeping through and saying, okay, now's the time it's going to change. And that change, you know, that metamorphosis can be uncomfortable, but at the same time, the disruption, as we said, is about moving you to where you need to be, because the foundations are not going to withhold and withstand the personal expansion that is happening for you. And if you can really get on board with that, then what we start to learn is how to find harmony in the discord, how to practice ways in which we can maintain a sense of balance and a sense of connection between mind, body and soul, and still move through the world and all of its chaos and upheaval, and witness and observe and experience, and not expect to have to feel good all the time, but just allow ourselves, in fact, to feel it all. And then that Tower creates something that is a powerful ripple effect and has impact to kind of make you face some things, you know. And I think whenever we come into this season, it's incredibly sensitive for many. It's incredibly triggering for many. And, you know, we have this full moon coming in Gemini on the 7th. And around that, you know, our words, our communication is being sort of amplified, and we have Mars retrograde in Gemini, and so a lot of misinformation, a lot of false truths, a lot of distraction energies are stepping in, something that feels tempting, that looks like it's the answer, that it almost presents itself as being the way through and the way forward, in actual fact, is just getting you deeper into a more complex web. So the devil coming through is a little bit of a teacher here in this month of December. One, to say that we're going to be facing things within us that we are absolutely ready at this point to surrender and let go, so that we're not carrying that energy through into the new year, but at the same time also giving us opportunity through those life lessons to then observe, to see people for who they are, to see situations with a level of new transparency, so that you can really understand the why behind the what. What do I mean by that? So when you're setting intentions for yourself, when you're moving through the world and you're saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm drawing towards me, this is the kind of life that I'm seeking, we have to know, or you have to understand at a soul level, what's the driver for that? Where is it coming from? Because ultimately, if you trace it all the way back, Virgo, it's going to be from a place of either love or fear. And the devil is showing up here to say, like, the fear of the change, the fear of the disruption, or the acknowledgement of things that were not as robust as you expected them to be, your comfort zones being pulled away from you, or the sort of obsessive overthinking towards certain situations or toxicity that might be coming up. Now, this sounds all quite heavy, but honestly, I actually feel quite liberated in it, because as I said, I see this new attitude coming through for you. And it's like, we've got to find that deep exhale this month. I think you will have moments where you feel quite vulnerable, but I think that those feelings are soon set to transform into a new, more rooted, secure version of you. And in that, you'll have realized that you sort of made it through the transition, if you like. Yeah. And part of that's going to mean that there will become a new normal for you. So perhaps things that you feared, or the anticipation of what was looming, what was coming up, all of a sudden there's celebration here. There's something to feel joyful about. Now, at the same time, this depiction of the Three of Cups always, I feel, is interesting, because we have all these hoops and they're very interconnected, which in one way is wonderful. It can suggest that sense of community, that friendship, that powerful support that I think you have and that you perhaps need through the month of December in some regard. But it also shows to me a sort of entanglement, an enmeshment, a sort of, being stuck or aligned in certain groups, certain friendships, and things that you realize perhaps are no longer serving you. Maybe the energy is not working where you're trying to plant yourself based on what you've been through. And so the challenge, to try and constantly find that sort of frame of reference to be able to resonate or relate, is perhaps being under review, under the microscope a little bit. And let's remember, this month we have Mercury going retrograde, so your natural ruler, you're always affected deeply, as is Gemini. So that's happening on the 29th, but you'll feel the shadow mid-month. And so again, we revisit things, don't we? We have to revisit and perhaps reflect on what we want our life to look like, how we want to move forward. You are transforming, you're growing, you're creating, you're evolving in so many ways. So you have to respect that process and ensure that the choices and decisions that you're making for yourself this month are also mirroring that. Four of Pentacles, there is a withholding energy. This is interesting. So I kind of feel almost like secrets here. The gate is locked. Why is that the case? There's often this sort of train of thought that there are different types of secrets. I think they're sort of come through as like natural, or promised, or entrusted. And if we're looking at a natural secret, it's like we hold the secret because we know if we pass it on, it may cause hurt. And so there's a sort of universal law, kind of karmic thing in place that says it's almost for the highest good to hold this information sacredly. And so we want to work with the laws of the universe in that regard. I feel that's perhaps where you're sat with pertaining to information that you feel it's not the right time to share, it's not the right time to express or to say something. We also have promised secrets, where I think it's about, you connect and you tell someone something and you make them promise that they won't pass it on. Perhaps there's always that leaking, that gossiping information. Be mindful, it's very rife in December with that Gemini moon and Mars retrograde. So if you are sharing information to people, almost have a willingness to accept that there may be leaks that come through. Or entrusted, which is, I guess, a bit more sort of formal in terms of the positions that we hold in certain situations. But we're also looking with that Four of Pentacles about making some conservative decisions. And I think that's okay, because there may be quite a lot at stake for you. Maybe contractually, some agreements going on, legally, some things that you're having to navigate and deal with, particularly close to home through fourth house energy in Sagittarius season. And, I think that justice comes in again with a sense of wanting to bring balance and equilibrium, wanting to bring fairness in and sort of trying to take the emotion out of it. Yeah, but this is perhaps where there may be some conflict going on within you emotionally, as perhaps you might be caught up in the unfolding of something politically, or even in the dynamics energetically in this sort of holiday season, or wrapping up the end of the year. And, it may feel quite urgent. It may feel a little bit like it's sort of pressured around you, but at the same time, remember the peace and the serenity of that Hanged Man. And that's why I like it so much showing up for you right at the beginning of your reading, because I think it's here to demonstrate the adoption of this new attitude and this willingness to say, I'm aware of all of this unfolding around me, and I'm aware of the significance of it, but at the same time, I'm just going to give myself permission to sort of move beyond it, to go beyond it. And when we're thinking about the review of this year, and by the way, my Sacred Soul support for December is focusing on a really beautiful 2022 soul review and light body graduation. And also in the shadow, we're looking at scarcity. So these might be journeys that can help support you as you're moving through the month. You'll find the link in the comment and description box underneath, guys. But anything that's truly calling you at a soul level, is going to move you to sort of almost break the mold a little bit. It's going to ask of you to perhaps walk a different path than you'd expected to. And, it might not feel reasonable. It might not feel even possible or predictable, but you still have to have an openness and a devotion and almost fully surrender into the experience, because that's why you came. That's why you said you wanted to be here and be here now. Now, this month we have beautiful fire dragon energy supporting us, especially through Sagittarius season. These elemental beings we can call on, helping to transmute energy, density, heaviness, negativity, and really sort of stand in our power and find that greater degree of inner majesty. So I want you to remember this, especially this month, as we pay attention to the fact we've got 3 powerful squares coming in with Jupiter. Now, 2 of them are around that full moon on the 5th and on the 9th. And what it suggests is not to overcommit, not to overstretch yourself. Remember, even though benevolent, Jupiter will amplify anything that it's gazing upon. And in these more tense aspects, it can kind of force us, especially around the full moon in Gemini, to sort of not think before we speak, to blurt things out, to overpromise, or to say things we shouldn't. And, all of that can be later things that you're going to regret or feel like, how do I get myself out of this? So just keep that in mind. There's also one coming in on the 21st. Let's talk about the 21st. We've got solstice energy, incredible moment of celestial stillness. Again, that Hanged Man coming in to say, okay, here's where I get leveled. Here's where no matter what has happened or what I'm looking back or reviewing upon in 2022, the highs, the lows, everything in between, this is a time where I get to rebalance myself and come home to myself. And that's such a beautiful time. Now, again, look out for my solstice activation. That will be a really beautiful journey for you to take. So the new moon in Capricorn comes in on the 23rd, just after solstice. And around that time, I think you've got something really beautiful, karmically coming back into balance for you, deserving of you, wanting to be gifted to you by the universe. And remember, Jupiter will re-enter Aries on the 20th. So again, that movement will also sort of bring back things that you were working on earlier in the year, that you were trying to amplify and bring growth and create momentum around. So we've pulled the last 3 cards, and if you're new to the channel, we cover these in the extended version of the reading, and you can find the link in the comment and description box underneath for this. So we'll go much deeper into the month ahead. I'm just going to invite you now to think about a personal question, Virgo, something that might not have come up in the main reading. And what we'll do is we'll cover that as well in our extended. Now I'm just going to go ahead and clarify these cards. So this is going to give us direction in where we will take this reading, and can often open up sort of new portals of information. Hanged Man is coming in with the Seven of Swords, more of that sort of secret information. Page of Cups coming in here. So what about this Tower? Okay, Six of Wands. Public recognition. Energy of the Hermit, of course, links into your card. Let's just pull one more here. Page of Swords. Interesting. Okay, Devil energy. Temperance. Empress. Knight of Cups. Okay, Three of Cups coming in with the Ten of Swords. And the Six of Cups. Of course, there's going to be that nostalgia, that reflection, looking back over the year. Now, this month, we also have the asteroid goddess Ceres shifting into the sign of Libra. She is the archetypal energy of the mother and sort of wants to bring in that nurturing, that nourishing energy for you. And Libra, of course, wanting to focus on the beauty that exists within as well as around us. And if you're interested in finding out more about your own natal chart in relation to the goddess energies, you can find that link in the comment section below. Got the World and the Knight of Wands coming in here. Beautiful. Seven of Pentacles. Okay. The best way to approach this month as well is certainly in the first half of December, like with these sort of short, sharp bursts of energy. Yeah, you know, you don't want to sort of commit to things that are going to take up huge amounts of time and effort for you. You're going to need more rest than you think you do through the course of this month, okay? So we're going to go ahead and pull you some oracle cards now. This is my deck Life Soul Vision. Thank you so much for all your support and investment this year. It's amazing seeing it out in the collective and you guys working and sending me your readings and tagging me, so thank you so much. If you want to check it out, please do so over on my website. Links are below. Okay, you have honesty at the edge of quiet. Beautiful. Look forward to sharing that message. And we have the Priestess of Light oracle here for you now. Sacred action, decisive focus. Beautiful. And then finally, let's look at the Angels of Atlantis. I also have an angel reading similar to the Goddess report, which you can also check out to see what angelic influences are connected to you through your natal chart. This month, also in your extended reading, you will get a little bit of a preview for 2023. We'll be doing a message for you in regards to that. Okay, you have Archangel Michael, I Am Presence, beautiful, working strongly with that sacred violet flame that will also be incredibly useful for you, I feel, to help transmute energies. And finally, we're also offering, if you purchase all 12 soul stories, a bonus love reading in December. So that'll be a 30-minute reading. It's going to cover off different situations around your relationships, and you'll be able to access that through the playlist on all 12 soul stories. So guys, thank you so much for all your investment and your support in my work. I love and appreciate you all. I wish you a very peaceful, very present holiday season. I look forward to continuing this if you're joining me for the extended to see where we take it. And if not, I'll see you again in 2023.